Here we go. We are live. Now let me go find where everybody's at. Hang on, Dylan. Let me get back. There we go. We are live. Uh-oh. Now let me go find where. Okay. I cannot find my Zoom. Go ahead, Dylan, if you want to start. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and see you.
I can't find the Zoom now. Oh, there you are. There we are. Okay, got it. Here we go. I'm making Dylan host, and happy Tuesday, everybody.
Sweet. Yeah, I was just posting on the Facebook group telling people to get in here. If you're not at the Zoom, then where you at? That's a TikTok if you guys don't know. I'm just making fun. Sweet. So yes, thank you guys for showing up. We really appreciate it. Today is just our Q&A. So every Tuesday we host a Zoom. That's today. Today is Tuesday. Just a general Q&A. So we don't really have a topic. We are just here to support you guys. So if you're out there hustling, making calls, door knocking, whatever you're doing and you need support, that's what we're here. Hopefully answer your questions, underwrite deals, call sellers, whatever you guys are needing. That's the game plan. So if you guys could write down your questions, think of them, whatever you'd like to do. We always encourage people to turn their cameras on, raise their hand. We're going to prioritize people that have their hand raised and their cameras on. We'd love to see your beautiful faces. So let me get started. Let me do my normal intro. So this is the Elephant Challenge. If you guys are new to it, you're new to creative real estate, new to real estate in general, or you just saw this Pace Morby guy's ads and you're like, what is this about? And you stumbled your way into the Elephant Challenge, we are stoked to have you. So Pace named this challenge brilliantly. If you guys are grinding at your W-2 jobs, you don't like what you're doing, or maybe you do like what you're doing, but you want to create some passive income and you think real estate's the vehicle to get you there, I think you're in the right place. So that's our goal. I'm gonna raise up here. I have a standing desk. I'm gonna stand for today. So slowly coming up. So yeah, if you guys want to get started in real estate, you're not sure how to get started, it's the same way you eat an elephant. It's one bite at a time. So we're stoked to have you guys. If this is your first time in a Herd of Profits, that's the name of our group. If you've never been in our Zooms, if you could post or type 1 in the chat for me, so that way we know and we'll shout you out. Jeff, what's up, brother? Nice to have you. If you've been in our Zooms a couple of times, post 2 in the chat so we know who our OGs are. Erica, Kevin, Diedrick, Stevie, George, Michael, Erica, Daniel, Steven, good to see you guys. Thanks for coming back. We always appreciate our OGs coming back to see us. Pansy, no doubt. So sweet. Yeah, let me go ahead and get started. So we just have one newbie. If you're shy and you're afraid to type a 1 in the chat, this is not the Zoom for you. We're gonna call you out. Mark, what's up, man? Thanks for posting. Any other newbies in here, please paste or type a 1 in the chat for us. Brian, there they go. Here we go. So let me. I want to start off the bat by giving you guys some value. So we have our very own Facebook group. It's called Herd of Profits. I'm going to copy the link and paste that in the chat. Boom. So if you're new and you're not a part of our Facebook group, or if you've been in here a few times and you're not a part of our Facebook group, what are you doing? Feel free to join that. It's totally free. We have some great value to share with you guys. So we're 1,400 members strong and growing. We also have a Zoom every Friday too. So for our newcomers that don't know, we're going to go live again on Friday at noon Mountain Time. So that's 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific. I actually don't know about this Friday. We'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, so Friday we'll actually pick a topic, whether that's underwriting creative finance deals, finding deals, calling agents, picking a market, all of that good stuff. So we go a little bit deeper into one topic. Last week we provided a list and let people call that list and tried to see if we can't find. Thanks, Pansy, I appreciate it. So we tried to find some deals live. So check out our last Friday Zoom. Hopefully, actually, we're getting some videos taken down off of YouTube. I think it's because we're sharing addresses or saying addresses. So if you guys come up, we're going to ask that you not say an address. You can post some crazy stuff on YouTube, but I guess you can't share an address. So regardless, yeah, make sure you join the Facebook group. We have this beautiful files tab for you with some great resources. So right off the bat, we have a purchase and post it direct to. Yeah. You'll DM me the address. So we have a purchase and sale agreement. This is a contract that you can use to go out and make offers on properties. It's a $3,000 value, totally free to you guys. Join the Facebook, download this. We also have a seller finance frequently asked questions that you can study yourself, learn more about seller finance, and also send it with offers. Common questions and concerns regarding selling on terms. A seller net sheet. This is a side-by-side comparison of if you list your home on market versus if you sold it to us, subject to. It shows a difference. We have a subject to frequently asked questions, so good for you guys to study on and send to sellers and agents. Here's a script to call agents and present creative finance. We have the foreclosure process. We have a deal or no deal. So this is an underwriting calculator for rental properties, free to have. We have our buy box. We have an estimating repair cost PDF, and then we have these things called LOIs. That stands for letter of intent. These are how we send so many offers. So our business model, we try to send at least 10, 15 offers a day, and we utilize these letters of intent. So you're more than welcome to download them, fill them out and send them off. So yeah, that's our files tab. Make sure you guys get in here, download some of these documents. Again, if you're new, I'm going to post the link one more time. Feel free to join. And lastly, that's a video game I'm watching. If you guys want to go to Angie's YouTube channel, Angie Milanazzo, we're live right now. So this is where all of our Zooms are recorded. See you. So yeah, like I said, if you come to the YouTube channel, please subscribe. We're on our way to 1 billion subscribers. We should hopefully get there in the next year or two, we're hoping. So we could use all the help we can get. Brian subscribed. Appreciate you, Brian. If you come over to this live tab, here's where all of our Zooms have been stored. Not all of them, at least a decent amount. We have called agents live. We have studied different markets. We've underwritten deals. We've negotiated with agents. You name it, we've done it. So make sure you guys check out the resources that we provide you here. And yeah, so that's all I have to share with you guys. Oh, lastly, if you are a real estate investor and you're interested in wholesaling, so that's what the majority of our business is. We wholesale creative finance deals. That's what our business model relies on. We also tend to keep a handful of them too. So if you're looking to get a good CRM, that stands for customer relationship management, we have a great CRM that we use. We're super grateful for our integrator. His name's Travis Bouchanville. He's a sub-2 student. He is very computer savvy. So we use this program called REI Reply. It's a basic CRM, but you need someone like Travis to make it how you want it. So we've had Travis really customize our CRM. So whenever leads are submitted, they come in here, we send an offer, and then it disappears from our CRM, or at least this pipeline, for 48 hours. After 48 hours, it automatically shoots that agent or a seller a text message. Hey, did you get our offer? What did your clients think about it? Blah, blah, blah. If they reply, they come into replied. Then we move them to daily follow-ups. We call them as they come in. If they are interested in moving forward, we send them a contract. They move to contract follow-ups. We call them, try to get them to sign the contract. Once they're under contract, we move them to our disposition pipeline, under deals under contract. We send it off to a buyer's list. The buyers reply. We find the interested buyer. Boom, we assign it. Everything's good to go. Now we're waiting to close. And then once it's closed, it moves into the close. So if you guys are interested in also getting a CRM similar to ours, we can refer you to our guy, Travis, who has a few different levels of packages. So he provides weekly and or daily phone calls to help build your CRM for you. So that way you can focus on the more important tasks and not having to build a CRM, which is fun for some, not fun for most. So highly encourage you guys to check that out. Yeah, so REI Reply is around 50 to 100 bucks a month. And then to have an integrator come in and really make it your own, on market, you're going to expect to pay anywhere around $1,500 to $3,500, and that's a one-time charge. They'll make it nice and neat, but if you want continual support, they'll work with you to keep improving the CRM. That's going to be anywhere from a couple, 50 to 100 to 300 to 500 bucks a month, however deep you want to take it. So that's if you took it to market. I'm not sure what Travis charges. You'll have to reach out to him if you're interested and see. So Travis Bouchanville, let me get his number real quick and then we'll go ahead and get started with the LOI or the questions. So my guy Travis, I'm going to put his phone number here in the chat so you guys can message him. He's got an 808 number, 686-3705. And it's Travis at propertysolutions.com. So yeah, go ahead and shoot Travis a text or email him, tell him you're interested in the CRM and he'll get on the phone. Brian says, "Ew, running a Mac. This Mac it's great." I was going to go in for a second. Right on. Thank you, Rez. Yeah, absolutely. Totally free, right? So Mike asks, where's the form to fill out to join our buyers list? So good question, Mike. Let me reshare. Actually, I'm not sure if we have it. What I need to do is post this on Facebook. So I'm going to post it in the chat. Mike, here you go. Fill out that form. So if you guys are buyers, right, you're interested in buying creative finance deals, fill out that link I just put in the chat. Any deal we get under contract, whoever is on that buyers list will get our properties first before we post them on Sub2 or anywhere else. So feel free to join that. And then lastly, this is the last thing, then I'll shut up. If you guys are new to real estate, or at least in the beginning phases of getting into real estate, we offer a JV program. So if you guys aren't sure how to underwrite, how to close, negotiate, find a buyer, you don't have money for earnest money, all of that good stuff, we have a link that you can fill out. So if you get a property and you're like, I think this could be a good lead, and you're not sure what the next step is, we have these forms here. So it's in discussions, it's in this feature tab right here. You can hit featured, and it's this first one. So we have a direct to agent lead form. Go ahead and fill that out, or a direct to seller lead form. So again, once you fill it out, it comes into our CRM, goes into our acquisition pipeline, and it comes into these three categories right here. We'll help you send an offer, negotiate, whatever you need help with. So if you guys are out there hustling, making calls, door knocking, sending texts, sending mailers, whatever you're doing, shouting from the tops of roofs, hey, I buy homes, and you're not sure now what the next step is, once you get a lead, go ahead and submit it there, and we will help you get it to the closing table. Okay, sweet. I'm already out of breath. So we got 47 people in here, 47 beautiful faces. I'm stoked to have you guys in here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, today is just a general Q&A. If you have questions at all regarding real estate, feel free to raise your hand. So if you come down to the reactions tab in the bottom, you can hit this raise hand button, and this little emoji comes up and it lets me know that you have a question. Daniel asked a question in the chat. What is a standalone first loan versus a conventional FHA, VA types? Standalone first. That's a good question, Daniel. To be honest, I am not too sure. I have seen that, right? It says loan type, it says standalone first. I'm not too sure, to be honest. I would assume that means they're a first position. It's probably a conventional loan, would be my guess. If anyone else knows, they can type it or reply to Daniel. But unfortunately, that's a question I don't have the answer to. Maybe Angie knows. Not too sure. Okay, sweet. Anybody else have any questions? Sweet. I've been doing my job great. Good to see you guys. We'll see you next week. Just kidding. There we go. There's the questions. All right, Mark, it looks like you raised your hand first. What do you got for me?
Hey, Dylan. Yeah, thanks, man. This is my first time in the group. So I did watch a previous video of you guys and really liked your vibe. So appreciate everything that you guys are doing and putting it out there. So I'm an agent in Arizona and I'm just getting into real estate investing. So my first question is, I know you guys are agents as well. How do you guys separate that out? Like if you're doing a deal for yourself, just in a real estate investing component, are you involving your license at all in that particular transaction, or is it totally separate? So that's kind of the first question.
Yeah, great question. So actually, I'm not an agent. Angie and Dom are the agents in our team.
Okay, yeah.
So, to be honest, I don't want to be an agent because it gives me more freedom to not have to disclose things or abide by DORA regulations. So,
Right.
For me, right, it just, I don't mention I'm an agent, but I have people on my team that make calls for me across the country and they're agents. And to be honest, it's almost a level of credibility that really helps them. So one of my guys, I have a handful. My guy Graham calls in Tennessee all the time. Peter calls across the country. So we mostly target on market properties. So we're mostly dealing with agents. So for you, Mark, I would say call these agents, whether they're in your state or not, and let them know, I'm a real estate agent. That's just not the capacity I'm calling you in. I'm actually working with a team of investors. We buy rental properties in this area, and I'm just looking to pick up a few more. How's this listing going? Go into your pitch from there, but letting them know that you're an agent just adds credibility, right? Most agents like to talk to other agents, generally speaking. But yeah, if you're calling sellers, that's just up to you. Obviously, if they're in your state, you most likely have to tell them you're a licensed agent. But if you're calling out of state, I don't believe you need to disclose that you're an agent in wherever you're at. So.
Gotcha. So I'm calling on agents and just kind of getting into it, feeling the vibe, from different agents out here and going to listings that are on market for over a certain amount of days and kind of filling them out to see what's going on with the properties. There's a few properties I like to get kind of some feedback on those at some point. So do you think I should just submit them through that the JV site for you guys to evaluate to see if it makes sense to move forward with those?
Yeah, that's the best way, because I have so many people in Facebook and other areas. They just find my number and they text me an address and they're like, hey, what do you think of this?
Right.
I'll show you guys my text messages. It's a little embarrassing, but if you look at my text messages, I have 900 and something unread text messages. So I tend to forget to text people back, but I'm in my CRM all day long. That's the best place for you to send me a lead, because either I'm on top of it or someone on my team is on top of it, and we're getting reminders sent to us, all that good stuff. So absolutely, submitting it to us through that form is the best way to do it.
Okay, cool.
Sweet. I'll kind of touch on, like, I guess the mindset too. Angie and Dom, they've had, I don't know, a tough time, but it's definitely been a process to get over the agent mindset, right? Like listings and buying, finding new listings and finding clients that want to buy homes. They're so upset when they found Pace, because they're like, we could have made way more money knowing what we know now if we, found out about this quicker, right? So how long have you been an agent for, Mark?
I've been an agent for 8 years, part-time though. I have a W-2 job. It's my
Okay.
bread and butter, but yeah, I do a few transactions each year. My best year, I did like 12 transactions.
Nice.
So.
That's definitely really good considering you're part-time too. But yeah, right. Like it just changes your mindset. Now, if you have a seller that has low equity, now you're thinking, okay, this is a great
Totally.
subject too. Maybe you can even get them more money than what they would have gotten at the normal on market. So yeah, just trying to identify what an investor is thinking about and looking for just adds another level to your business. So
yeah, no, it's great. And I think I got to put the different hats on, right? When I'm thinking about representing a client, right? I'm the realtor, I got their best interest, and everything. But when I'm the investor, I'm thinking of from my perspective, I still got to let people know that if I'm doing transactions in Arizona, that I'm a licensed realtor in the state, right? But if I'm transacting for myself or for my investment business, I'm not getting paid a commission through my broker. So I'm assuming that I don't have to even go through my broker for that type of activity. That's one thing.
Right. Yeah. Let them know, I'm licensed here, but I'm calling you in the capacity as a buyer. I also buy real estate. I'm looking at a property or two to my portfolio this quarter. Obviously disclose that, but yeah, you're in a completely different capacity, right? Who do you hang your license with? If you don't mind me
Coldwell
asking?
Banker's my broker currently.
Okay. And most Coldwell broker agents that I talk to tend to be on like the more intelligent, as opposed to maybe I won't say the name, but it rhymes with Beller Billiams agents, right? So they tend to think more how an investor thinks. So yeah, talk to your broker, let them know, hey, how can we wholesale properties legally, right? Because in the agent world, that's called a net listing, and it's so scary, right? Door is going to come down on you. But there's totally legal ways to do it. Dom just found a lead in here in Thornton, Colorado. The guy called him and said he wanted to list it. Most agents would have been ecstatic, right? Like, okay, great, I got my next listing, here we go. But he goes and walks the property. The guys split it up into 3 different units. It's not going to sell on market. So he's thinking, okay, maybe we can structure this creatively and sell it to an investor, and I can make a wholesale fee instead of just a 2-3% commission. So yeah, definitely just thinking of different avenues, how investors think, for sure.
Awesome. Well, cool. I know there's other people that have questions, so I could probably go on for another hour, but we'll let other people ask questions. Thanks.
Right on. I appreciate it, Mark. Yeah, thanks for being here, man. All right, sweet. George, good to see you again, man. What do you got for us?
Hey, how's everybody? Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Fantastic. Listen, I appreciate all the help you guys have given me. I've sent a couple of deals over. This thing is definitely but it's been interesting getting started, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. I've got actually a couple of questions. The first one is I've tried to send a couple of what I thought were creative deals, no cigar yet, so to speak. But the last one I sent, after thinking about it, I sent it as a creative deal, but it might have been just as easily a cash deal. So that got me to thinking, under what conditions will you do a JV under a cash deal? What's the criteria for that? I know you want creative, but under what conditions and what's the criteria for a cash deal? That's question number one.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Good question. Seem to have lost my pencil, but yeah. So, thanks, brother. So yeah, we're definitely not opposed to cash. The creative finance is really our bread and butter. That's where the majority of our buyers lie, is they're looking for creative long-term rentals. But through the process of building our buyers list, we've come across a ton of cash buyers that are looking for their next fix and flip as well. I will tell you that 99% of on-market properties are going to be very tough to convert to a cash deal that actually makes sense to wholesale. Cash deals tend to come from off-market motivated sellers that are filling out Facebook ads and replying to mailers and all that good stuff, right? Because once they get an agent in their ear, their agent's like, nope, we're going to list it. at this price, and then every week we'll price drop by $5,000 increments. It's a smart way to go about it, right? You're definitely going to get more interested buyers. If you have time on your side, it's not a bad way to go. But if you're like, hey, I need to sell right now, I need to sell quickly, my home needs way too much work, it's in too bad a shape to even think about selling it on the market, and they're willing to take 50% of the actual value of the home, then it's a deal, right? But if you have a seller that's distressed and they're like, hey, my home's worth $360,000, it needs $60,000 worth of work, I want $300,000. It's not a lead, right? Because you have closing costs, wholesale fee, the investor needs to make a profit. You need a buffer of repairs, you need a buffer for holding costs, right? So I would say it has to be generally off market. Doesn't mean that you can't find good leads on market, but they're going to be tough. And that person needs to sell quickly and their home needs some work. So those are kind of the stipulations we look for a cash deal.
Okay. This one in particular was out of Georgia. It had been an Airbnb, so it was basically ready, but the price was around 200 or so. Now, would they have taken less than that? Probably at a cash offer, they would have. It looked like, of course, I didn't sit down and underwrite it, but it looked like a deal. So I don't know. I've submitted it through the joint venture form. I don't think the offer has been sent out yet, so I guess we'll see. The other question is more like a giraffe than a baby elephant. I'm kind of feeling like I'm at a point now where I need to take a stab at the paperwork, submitting an offer, that kind of thing. I'm wondering, is there any help to kind of, I know how to comp. I've been practicing my underwriting. So if I took a stab at filling those forms out, is there a way to get them kind of looked at to see if they're in the ballpark kind of?
Yeah,
Do I submit
absolutely.
those, or how do I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, if you guys check out the YouTube, we have filled out several net sheets. We filled out letters of intent, right? We've underwritten cash deals. So yeah, and I'm just going to teach through you, George, if you're interested in actually getting that next step, right? Underwriting, sending your own offers, check these videos out, right? We've done that a handful of times in these videos. If you're now ready to take that next step. And then, yeah, when you're ready to send a lead, I'm not actually sure. That's a good question. So, yeah, it doesn't allow you to upload documents. So what you could do, George, is say, okay, I've underwritten this. I've filled up a seller net sheet. I have an LOI. You can submit that document and put it in the notes that, hey, I've, filled out the net sheet. I just need help double checking and seeing if it's good. We just need you to let us know what help you're needing. So a lot of people submit us a lead and they're like, yeah, motivated seller, here you go. And it's like, okay, well, we don't know what you need. So we're just going to send them an offer. We'll let you know how it goes. But if you say, sure, I want to take this down on my own, I just need help. I need eyes on my letter of intent and my net sheet. Please reach out and I'll send them to you. So someone on my team will email you, text you, call you and say, hey, send that over. Here's the email.
Sure. No, now listen, I definitely don't mind joint venturing. That's not it. I just want to feel like I'm learning how to kind of walk on my own a little bit. Mm-hmm. Part of that, one of the offers I sent, one of the leads that I sent, I got a copy of the LOI and my eyes got about big as a saucer. I was like, wow, that's pretty tight. You had the proof of funds and all that stuff on there. I've heard somebody say there's a way to go to a website to get a proof of funds. I know you guys are probably not going to share that for a somebody like me that's going to submit their own or try to submit their own offer. But what's your best advice on how to get proof of funds?
I'll share with you how we got ours. It's not a website. There's this guy. if you've been around Pace's community for a while, his name is Abraham Gray. You can see him. He's probably makes more money than Pace, to be honest with you. He bought over 300 homes in Atlanta last year. That's a little less than a home a day. He has a construction business. He owns 70 or so different businesses, restaurants, gyms, you name it. He has a business that does that. He's an amazing resource for the Sub2 community. I simply just DM'd him and say, hey, can I get a proof of funds for this LLC? And he went and took a screenshot of his own bank account and then put my LLC name over his and sent it to me. So feel free to shout this guy out in the creative Facebook group or DM him. I've seen him send, like I saw a post in Sub2. Someone said, hey, I need proof of funds at Abraham Gray. He immediately replied, sent them the proof of funds, and then maybe 30 comments. He replied to each single one of those and sent them a proof of funds. Wow. Will he do that for everyone? I have no idea. I don't know how this guy has time to own 70 businesses, but that's how we got ours. If you're good with Photoshop, there's other ways around it, so.
I wouldn't do that, Dylan. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do any Photoshop proof. If you don't
didn't hear that. You didn't hear that from me.
Yeah. If you don't have proof of funds, that's the whole point. And you need a JV with somebody who has proof of funds, because even though Abraham does that, Abraham has them available to us. We talk to him I talked to him yesterday. We talk to him all the time. He's not just some guy. So I don't want everybody to think that you can just, do that, because it would be unethical to do a copy and paste. So I wouldn't do that. We do it when we have to switch documents up in a hurry, but no, all of our stuff's backed by somebody who actually has the money to purchase that property. And that's very important when you're wholesaling. Very important.
I mean, like I have money, but the proof of funds y'all sent was like boom, it was like no question. But we'll work it out though. I just want to get my hands dirty on that paperwork and kind of press forward a little bit that way.
If you're Sub2, you get that as a gift from Pace. So it's at the top of his Facebook page.
Right. Well, I'm just about finished with my Gator training, and I was between the Elephant Challenge and Gator training. I was, he says it's good to feel overwhelmed, but let's just say I was close. So I wanted to kind of get some things off my plate first. I think Sub2 is going to be next for me, but I definitely wanted to go ahead and kind of finish up the Gator training. But that's all I've got for now, guys. I appreciate the information. And like I say, I'm just going to try to get my hands a little dirty on some of this paperwork, and we'll see how it goes.
Love it, George. You got it, man. We believe in you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, brother. Okay, real quick, let me just check the chats. Yeah, a lot of people posting questions in the chat. If you guys aren't raising your hand, your question might get missed. So yeah, don't be shy. Raise your hand. We're not going to bite too hard. So let's see, Alec, what do you got for us, man?
Hey, Dylan. I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer this question or not, because I don't think I have quite enough information, but I'm curious how you might approach this situation. So I have a potential lead where the owner is willing to do seller financing, but he owes money to a private money lender as well, about like 150K or so, but he's willing to seller finance the remaining amount. I'm not sure if the best, and I asked him, would the private money lender be open to restructuring, or I can just continue to make the payments? He said, no, he kind of wants out. So I don't have the capital to just like throw 150K down. So I don't know if it's like do like a hybrid where I go to a lender and try and get like a loan through for investment property, and then the remainder we do seller financing, or try and find a private money lender, or just bail on it totally because it's not, interest rates are incredibly high and the loan for the 150K might be insane. But again, I don't have the details of what those monthly payments will look like, the interest or anything. I'm still waiting for the lender to get back to me. And then I feel like that would kind of dictate the conversation and negotiation with the seller with terms as well. He seems pretty chill and open to options. And so I'm not sure what the negotiation will look like, and it will depend, what that looks like and whether or not it cash flow. But I'm just kind of curious how you might approach it.
Yeah, good question, man. So definitely a unique situation, right? Yeah, with private money lenders, if they don't have 50 people they're loaning money to, if it's just a couple of people, they're probably going to notice that property sold, someone else took over the payments, they're going to want their money back. So yeah, you have to find a way to pay that loan off, and then see if your seller would carry the remaining equity. That is called the Morby method. Have you heard of that, Alec?
I've heard Pace talk about it, yeah, but I haven't dug into it.
Yeah, so maybe check that out on YouTube. Essentially what it is it's the seller will carry roughly 30% of their equity, right? So whether they have a loan or not, you can offer them 70% down. And out of that 70%, it needs to pay off any loans, right? So let's say it's a $200,000 house, right? He owes $150,000. That's 75%. So if you can get a loan from myinvestorloan.com or just any other DSCR loan, you are right. It's going to be higher than what most interest rates are at. It's going to be at 8.5 up to 10%. It could still work, right? So check your numbers. All you do is just go to a simple amortization calculator. So if you need to borrow, right, 150,000, typically amortized over 30 years at 8.5 interest, right? Your payment on that's 1153. Add taxes, insurance, add the seller finance amount for the remaining, right? Your seller would carry you 50,000. Hopefully that's at like a 4.5 rate or better, right? So that's another 253. But if this thing makes $3,000 a month, it could still work. And that's a great way for you to get into a deal with no money. The other part that Pace talks about, right, is you don't need to be the person that brings that 30% because your seller is willing to carry, right? So you do need to borrow that 30% from a gator lender just to satisfy title, just to satisfy escrow. Once everything closes, that 30% gets sent right back to that investor. We create a note, and that seller is now carrying that 30%. So that's how you would structure it. But it needs to cash flow, right? So if it makes $3,000, it seems like a sweet deal. But if it's only making $2,000, your numbers are a little tight. So does that make sense? Any questions about how I explain that?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think a lot of it's kind of unknown until I hear back what the lender can actually provide to me. And but I was just kind of curious what your approach was. So that's very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. And yeah, make friends in the creative Facebook group, or are you a sub 2 student?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, make friends in sub 2. Hey, I'm looking for a DSCR loan product. Actually, I don't think you could post that in sub 2. They've really come down on people looking for lenders, or they just don't want people getting scammed. So there's a way you can find who lenders are, or just contact a local mortgage loan originator or mortgage broker and let them know, hey, I'm looking for a DSCR loan. Is that something you can help me with? What do I need to qualify? What are rates at? All that good stuff. It's mostly dependent on the actual asset itself, but it does still depend on your personal credit, and other things like that too. They will ask for your taxes, all that good stuff. So yeah, maybe get with a lender, underwrite the deal a little bit more, but it could work. Definitely, not a total dead lead, I would say.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Dylan.
Sweet. Right on. Thanks, Alec. Good question, man. Sheila is asking questions. Sheila, you got to raise your hand. Direct questions, we got to raise our hand. unless we get through all the questions, and then we'll start reading the chat.
Yes,
oh, there you are right there. There you go. What do you got for me?
I had difficulty getting in, but thank God I'm here.
There you are.
Okay. I'm a newbie, and this is my first time. So I just want to, tell you that I'm from Brooklyn. And I think this deal that I have is very unusual. It's a FSBO to buyer. that's the only thing that I can get from all the tapes that I've learned from from Pace.
Yep.
So he wants me to because he has difficulty getting a loan also. So how can I get all these contracts to him? I'd like a sub two person to help me. I was more thinking of Angie and Dominique. I did reach out to them. So am I on the right track? I don't know. This is what I've learned, and I'm just putting it out there.
I love it. No, you're here, you're taking action. I love it so much. So yeah, our team, we tend to be busy, right? I just showed you I had 900 unread text messages. I'm sure Angie and Dom are a little better than that, but the best way for you guys to get a hold of us, especially if you have a lead or a deal you want to share with us, is via the Facebook group. So again, yeah, if you have a lead and it's direct to seller agents, or in your case, direct to seller, fill out this lead form, direct to seller, fill in your contact info, fill in all the information that you can, let us know where you're now stuck and what you're needing help with. And that's the best and quickest way we can get back to you on something like that.
Yeah, it's not, it's the buyer who is in, communicado with me, not the seller.
Okay. So you have a buyer. How'd you find this buyer? Facebook?
Yes, he I just put an ad out there, word of mouth, whatever, and he just came right to me.
Okay, and so he has a seller that's a for sale by owner. That's what FSBO means.
Right.
And he wants to buy this guy's property. Does he want to get a loan on it?
Yeah, he wants to get a loan, but that's where he's stuck too. So I said, oh, maybe I could help you. Just to kind of draw him in a little bit.
I love it. Right. Okay. So it sounds like he has trouble qualifying, right? He's maybe not the most loanable person. Is it an investment property? He wants to buy it and make return on it?
Fix and flip, yeah.
Okay, he wants to fix and flip it. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, my first questions for him would be, what's your experience with this? How many homes have you flipped? Is this your first one? All that good. Have you asked him that?
Yes, I did. It's not his first one.
Okay.
But I just thought I'd get, someone more experienced to kind of talk to him and draw out some of the stuff, because there's stuff that he's not telling me. He's not giving me the address. That's for sure.
Okay.
But I just want someone more experienced to actually talk to him and draw out some information from him, so we can create some kind of contract, and I can get vested in some of, all the other people in the sub two, like the, I don't know, people who are dealing with the contracts.
Yeah.
I can't bring up the names now, like I forgot.
Yeah, no worries. So, and yeah, what you're talking about too, this is Pace, I would say, coined this term. He didn't invent it, but it's called gator wrestling. So you've heard of gator lending, right? He also coined the term gator wrestling. So it's finding someone that needs money and finding someone that has money and connecting them for a fee, and or finding a buyer and a seller, connecting them for a fee. We're doing that right now on a deal in California. We have a seller, we have a buyer. They want to buy it subject to, but they're like, I have no idea how to do that. So we're going to essentially just be that middleman. We're going to do a consultation for them.
Right. So I couldn't wholesale it either. Can I get a wholesale deal out of that?
You need the address first. It sounds like this guy wouldn't want you to wholesale it to him, but maybe help structure it, help him find money, and that in itself returns a fee. We call it more of a consulting fee, but it could be the same amount as a wholesale fee. For example, same thing. We had a person in sub. I don't think they were sub 2, but a seller in sub 2. Sorry, a seller in our network. I forget how we found them, but she had this property in California, And then she had a tenant that lived in the property and wanted to buy it. The tenant wasn't very loanable. He wasn't very financeable. And they had started talking about subject to. They didn't really know how to structure it. The tenant had over $100,000 to put down and take over her loan. So we came in, we negotiated on behalf of the seller and the tenant, right? In good faith, tried to be as reasonable to both of them. We agreed on some terms. We wrote the contract, and it's almost a white glove experience. That's how I present it. Like, okay, you want to buy this home, the seller wants to sell it to you. Let us be the middleman that provides that white glove consultation that, makes it as smooth and seamless as possible. And, little to no work on your end. We'll walk you from steps A to Z on how to get this to the closing table. So that sounds like the type of situation you're in.
Right? Because I think I need to start showing him some paperwork, some contracts. You understand? So he doesn't get, disheveled and walk away.
Right. So we need to, I guess, explain his options to him, right? So find a hard money lender. We can help do that. So we can vet hard money lenders, connect them. That's one way. Or maybe we can structure it creatively where we do a novation agreement. That gets more into the weeds of things, but essentially talk to his seller and him and say, hey, can we do a partnership flip where, we agree just to flip this property while you still own it, and then we'll list it together with you. That means you'll get this number and then we get anything above that number. That's essentially a novation.
Yeah, but I would love for someone who is more experienced to actually be on the line to actually
Let's do it. Yeah, no, I got you all day. Direct. Yeah. So if you could submit that lead to us. I know you don't have the address, so maybe just put like 123 Main Street, and just be as descriptive as possible in the notes. Let us know, hey, I'm trying to gate a wrestle. So let us know I want to gate a wrestle. I have a buyer that wants to buy a fix and flip. I just don't know what the next step would be.
All right. So who do I send it to again? Who do
I love it. No, I love that question. Yeah. So that would be, again, come into our Facebook.
Oh.
And this is just the easiest way for us. So come into the Facebook, and I'll drop that link for you right here too. So that the first link I dropped, obviously it's a Facebook link, is how to join the Facebook, and the link.
I'm in there already, I think.
Okay, perfect. So here is. All right. Okay, so Dorette, I just posted that in the chat. If you click that link, it starts with cashbuys.com. Click that link and it'll prompt you to this page, direct to seller lead form. So fill in your information. I would say instead of seller, put your buyer here. Property information, just put 123 Main Street, come up with an address, have fun with it. Right, 4 pillars, right? It's definitely not conventional leads, so fill this out to the best of your ability. But right here in the additional information, let us know, I want to gator wrestle. I have a buyer and he wants to flip this home. Don't have the address, right? So just explain to us the situation, and we'll get in touch with you and try to take it from there.
Okay, last question. So how do I get this? Because I'm not a computer savvy person. Is it all right to be like email it to me or something at home? Because after this I'll be lost.
Yeah, no worries. Let me walk you through it. So on Zoom, right? Are you on your computer?
Yes, I'm on my computer.
Okay, so if you look at the bottom bar down there, it says chat. Do you see that button?
Chat, yes. Chat, yes.
Okay, so click that. Now on the right side, do you see it? I made the last comment at 4:50 p.m. That's my time, at least. It would be 6:50 your time. It's a link. It starts with HTTPS. Semicolon /
okay, so what do
yeah,
I do?
Click that link right there.
Yes, and then I share it. I can just share. You're Dylan? You're Dylan.
I'm
right?
Dylan. Yep. So click that link. It will bring you to that lead form.
Okay. And then
I think I could see it.
Yes, then I
Yep.
can send it to my email, right?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Sweet. Yeah, direct, let us know. And then yeah, make a post on the Facebook if you can't figure it out from there, and we will reach out and make sure we get you additional help.
Yeah, what's your email though?
It's Dylan, DYLAN at pro reps reps.net.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, Direct.
You.
All right. Let's see. What do you got for us? Drake Retzlaff. How do you say your last name, man?
You said it right.
Let's go. Okay.
You're one of the few people that actually have said that right.
Let's go.
I know you've said that you guys have a video on how to work the deal or no deal in the seller net sheets. Where were those at?
That is an amazing question, Drake. So it's going to be on the YouTube channel. So
All right.
are you there?
No, I'm not there. I didn't know if it was on is it on Angie's YouTube?
Yeah, it's on Angie. So I just posted the link to that. So check that out. One thing we've not been great at is naming these very well. So if it's on a Tuesday, right, like this one, it's more of a Q&A. You want to find the Friday Zooms. That's where we tend to underwrite, fill out those net sheets, fill out that deal or no deal. So yeah, check those out. Check the comments too. A lot of people tend to hopefully leave comments
Of what it was about,
yeah. So you can see like this one, this is probably one, yeah, we're looking at Zillow. I don't even know what I was doing here. But yeah, you might have to scroll through some of them, try to find it. Yeah.
So a Friday's one of the Friday ones.
One of the Friday ones, yep.
All right.
Sweet. And actually what we probably should do too is maybe make a Loom video, sort of a, there goes the dog. Make a Loom video as sort of a tutorial how to fill that out and post it on Facebook too. I think that's actually a great idea. All right. Was that your only question, Drake?
Yeah.
Okay, right on, brother. Good luck. Yeah, let us know. Post it in the Facebook too. Like, hey, who knows where they filled out a net sheet or something like that. I'm sure someone in the Facebook will reply to you and help you with that as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sweet. DK says, sorry, I just jumped in here. What exactly is the form for? That form is to send us a lead if you need help. Obviously, don't send us a lead if you don't need help. But if you're stuck, you're not sure how to send an offer, how to close it, you need help finding a buyer, that's what that lead form is for. All right, let's go. Elijah. Mr. Elijah Cook. Elijah.
Oh, my bad.
Hey,
I had to
man.
unmute myself.
No worries.
I'm at work right now, so I'm kind of multitasking here.
Nice, man. What do you do?
I'm a forklift driver.
Oh, I love it, man. Be safe while you're doing this.
I'm good right now. I'm good.
Okay. No worries. We're not calling HR, so.
Hey, they're not going to fire me anyways. I kick ass over here. So
Let's go. I'm sure you do, man.
I wanted to know, do you work with hedge funds?
We haven't. Again, and mostly because we tend to wholesale creative finance deals. Most hedge funds are, cash or nothing. There are plenty of wholesalers and sub-2 students that have made tons of money wholesaling to hedge funds. It's definitely a great business model. You just have to connect with one of their reps, get their buy box and go hunting. But that's a great business model. Tends to be a little tougher. Those hedge funds are going to be a little bit pickier, but their pockets are deeper. So it's a give and a take.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the reason why I was asking is because I was looking into Open Door, and they said that they get 5% of the deal, and I'm like, well, if you're giving me the offer on the house, is that like built into the offer, or is that coming out of like my assignment fee if I'm wholesaling them a deal?
Right. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Like I said, we've never wholesaled to a hedge fund. The closest thing I've done to wholesaling to a hedge fund, I sold a deal in Georgia actually to a new Western guy. They're basically a hedge fund. They're probably the largest national wholesalers across the country, probably next to Keegley. But yeah, I just don't have much experience working with those companies.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking into New Western too, but I thought like they were only in certain states. I didn't know that they were, nationwide. Well, in every state.
Yeah, they're probably not in like North Dakota, but
or Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, I don't know. Yeah, you might need to Google that one. I'm not too sure.
All right, that's just what I wanted to know. I wanted to know what that 5% was all about. Like, is that supposed to come out of my pocket, or are they taking that right off the top when they give you their fee?
Yeah, good question, man. I to be honest, I wouldn't know that. That'd be a good question to post in the creative real estate group.
Okay.
I would say, yeah. Thanks, Sessing.
Right.
Thanks for being here. Sweet. Yeah, good question though. And two, I think that's a good teaching moment too. So what Elijah is alluding to is, most people have heard of a hedge fund before, right? They think stockbrokers, blah, blah, blah. But hedge funds are these large companies that pull together millions of dollars from wealthy individuals, and then they go and invest their money, right? Most hedge funds tend to invest in stock markets and bonds, but there are tons of hedge funds companies that buy real estate. So there's lists. I'm sure if you went on the creative real estate, actually, let's see if we can find it. So if you go, boom, Facebook, boom, creative real estate, type in hedge fund, there might even be a list. I bet you there is. So look, hedge fund opportunity. I know people have posted lists. Here's a criteria of a hedge fund, right? So here's another, like these people, all these guys connect with hedge funds and they post their buy box and say, hey, if you have a deal in any of these states that meet these qualifications, send it to me. I'm connected with this hedge fund. I have a buyer for you. Right? Like, so that's a business model all in its own. Like, Caroline Kane. This is one of Pace's employees, or actually that's probably not her. I think maybe I'm not getting the name right here, Joey? Caroline Kane. Caroline Kane, that's Pace's girl.
Yes, some one of those.
Okay. Yeah, so she got her start by just wholesaling deals to hedge funds. It's really a great business model. So, if you guys are out there door knocking, finding distressed properties, right? Try to connect with some hedge funds and see what their buy box looks like. It's one of the easiest ways to wholesale. So, sweet, good question, Elijah. Anything else, brother? Or is that it?
No, that was it. Yeah, because
Okay.
I haven't got my first deal yet, so I was thinking, you know what? Let me try to wrap my self around this right here. Try to catch one real quick,
Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, definitely could be one of the easiest transactions. You just have to find the right type of lead. But
yeah,
every guru out there talks about wholesaling, right? It's a lot easier to find a buyer and then find out what that buyer is looking for. Now you're more of a sniper, right? You're targeting something specific rather than being a machine gun, spraying the field trying to find a deal. You can now go and be a sniper. So if connect with a couple of hedge funds, see what their buy boxes are, and try and go and find them a deal.
I would want to try to get how do you say, connected with somebody from the hedge fund that I can send them a deal and see what they would take before I even send them that property, you know?
Yeah.
So if they offer me a certain amount, I can go back without having to worry about getting the deal stolen.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah. I mean, Rez asks a great question. How do you suggest connecting with a hedge fund? To be honest, I'm not too sure. We haven't really looked for it. You can, Google and YouTube are probably your best friends in that question. And then also the creative group, right? Like, how do I go about finding hedge funds in my area? People post lists of hedge funds too. That's what I was mostly looking for. So you maybe go in the creative group and type hedge fund list, something like that. I'm sure you might be able to find someone. So sweet. Thank you, Elijah. I think actually Sheila had her hand raised. I see her down there. I don't know if you were next. I saw you, Sheila. I don't know if you want to go now.
Hi, Dylan. Yeah, sorry, I was having some connection issues earlier, but
No worries.
yeah, I just had a quick question regarding the lead form.
Okay.
So in terms of so if we're trying to JV and just get guidance on the steps from submitting an LOI, just through the whole process of submitting for a sub 2 deal. I noticed that in the email attachment, you include information for a lender.
Yes.
Is that, so if at some point the offer is accepted, is that a lender that we would be working with, or is that just submitted to the agent for their assurance?
Yeah, so it's sort of both. That lender that I always refer is my guy Joseph Gonzalez out here in Colorado, and in my email I always say I've included my lender's information. Feel free to reach out to him if you have any questions on how a subject to transaction will affect your client's buying power, because that's one of the biggest questions we get, right? So how does this affect my DTI? How can I buy a home, right? If they're veterans, how do I know how this affects my entitlement? So my guy Joseph really understands subject to. He's a veteran. He understands VA loans and entitlements. He's an investor, so he really understands how it affects them. So I always include his information. So it's just another resource for them if they want to reach out to them. Most agents tend to have their own lending partners, but if they know how subject to affects their clients, probably not. So that's why I include him in there.
Okay, yeah, because I was just wondering if that's someone that, as the steps go along, if the offer is accepted, if that's someone that we would be working with just in terms of the flow. And then how much, I was just wondering if that's, what their percentage is, what their timing is in terms of repayment. So I was just wondering if that's someone that we would then work with to then, help with closing the deal.
Yeah, so I'm actually working with him right now on 2 deals. We have 2 properties going under contract, one actually already under contract in Texas and one hopefully coming soon here in Pueblo. Both of the sellers are veterans and they want to buy a home after 12 months to 4 years. That's their goal. So I just tell them, okay, get with my lender, Joseph. He's going to ask to see a few documents. And it's simple on his part. It doesn't take too much work, but he just checks their entitlement. Okay, yeah, you have $450,000 of entitlement left through your VA. 100%. You have enough money to buy your next home, or no, you don't have enough money to buy your home. Unfortunately, most mortgage lenders have been just hammered the fact that they cannot accept any money, whether it's a referral fee or anything. So we don't necessarily pay him a fee because he has to originate a loan for him to get paid. That's the only way he's allowed to get paid. So, obviously we tend to work around that a little bit, but it's mostly a referral basis, right? So he helps us and we refer anyone that needs a loan in Florida, Colorado, and Ohio to Joseph. So he helps us, we just help him.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, Sheila. Good question. Sweet. You guys are killing my voice with all these questions. I love to see so many people have their hand raised, and I hope to get to you guys. I'm going to have to call it and say I'm cutting it off after Drew. So if you guys didn't raise your hand, you're too late. So let's go through RD. What do you got for me, brother?
What's going on,
Yeah,
Dylan?
what up, Dylan? I'm just reaching
my
out
bad.
to you right now, and I just wanted to say I just put in my first creative today, LOI to well, now this actually isn't my first one, but this is one I feel like could possibly make it through all the way. My question is, should I take it to you guys on your cash buyer thing? I would like to kind of keep it, you know what I'm saying, in my portfolio, you know what I'm saying, it's something that I could keep. And do you guys do anything like mentor or do any type of transaction coordination when it comes to situations like this?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, because right, it sounds like you have a rental portfolio, you know what you're doing as far as everything else besides maybe like the paperwork and structuring a subject to or creative deals. So for sure, we can at least, consult with you, make sure all the paperwork goes right, walk your seller through the contract, make sure they know everything, help you set up loan servicing and insurance, all that good stuff. So that way it's a white glove experience. It's seamless for you. Absolutely. That's something we offer.
I want to add to it that so I mean, this, like I said, this is my first creative, so I don't have a portfolio as of yet, but it's something that I would like to keep or possibly pass off to you guys. The thing is too is that it's 100% equity, so they don't own anything on the property.
Okay.
It's just that so yeah, I appreciate what you just said, and I think I'm going to shoot everything the information over to you guys.
For sure. Yeah, let us know too. And just teaching through you, RD, if you guys send us a lead and you're like, hey, I got this from here on out, I'm going to take this over, I don't need your guys' help. We're never going to steal a deal from you guys. Really, just by submitting the lead, you're just asking us for help. But we're not going to just take that deal from you and run, right? We have, like, you guys couldn't see it because I hit it, but we have hundreds of leads in our pipeline. We're overwhelmed as it is. So we don't need to steal deals from anybody. But yeah, RD, if that's something you want to keep, or maybe you want to wholesale it, or whatever the case is, we'll go through it together, figure out what the best strategy is for you, and help you along the way. Oh.
Yeah, that sounds good. I appreciate that. Yeah,
right on.
I'll send something over to you guys soon.
Okay, thanks, RD. Appreciate it, man. Sweet. Okay, let's see. Israel.
Hey, Dylan, my bad. I had you on mute. How you doing, man?
Good, bro. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. My question is just brief. Are you guys doing an underwriting, showing us how to underwrite, see if it's a good deal or not on your other Zoom
like
calls?
single families? Yeah. So I'm guessing you were sneezing, or you came in a little late. No worries. Yeah. So I'll drop the link again. A lot of self-promotion. I don't mind it at all. So yeah, check out Angie's YouTube channel. We're really close to 1 million subscribers. So if you could subscribe, it really helps us out. But yeah, we've underwrote cash deals, creative deals, multifamily deals, probably a lot of different types of deals besides maybe land. We don't really do much with land, but yeah, we've underwrote, sent offers, called agents live, all on the YouTube channel.
Gotcha. Okay. And in terms of underwriting and seeing if it's a good deal, do you guys do it for multifamily?
I would say not much anymore, unless you send us a lead and it says they're very open to creative financing, they're highly motivated, you're direct to the seller or the agent, then we might be interested in it. But if it's an on-market property and you have no idea if they're open to creative, not really. It's just not what we're looking for right now. It's very tough to wholesale on market multifamily deal, it's almost next to impossible. So it's just not what we're looking for right now. I will. Are
Gotcha.
you a sub-2 student, Israel?
No, I'm a wholesaler, but I'm also a gator.
Okay.
So this deal came across to me and my partner. My partner's in Miami, and it's an off-market deal, multifamily. It's really a triplex, and the seller is interested in sub-2 and seller finance. So we're trying to see if this will be our first multifamily triplex. So we're trying to see if the numbers will do add up and if it's a good deal. So I don't know if we can submit those leads to you to see if you guys can help us see if it's a good deal.
Yeah. So and when you say multifamily, my brain goes to 50 units, 100 units. So really anything, I guess, legally or technically under 4 units is still considered single family, or small multifamily. Once you get over 5 units or more, then it's considered
We'll still look at
multifamily.
20 units up to 20.
We'll still look
21
at them.
units.
Yeah.
I'm on
feel free to
Angie's
send them
Zoom
off.
because I was on my phone and then I came back to my office and her Zoom didn't work anyway. So I'm that's why I'm talking like Angie. But yeah, we'll take those 20 up to 24 because it's still considered, smaller, not really multifamily. And
Mhm.
usually those are owned by like mom and pops who are, they're up for the sub-2 or creative finance type of deal. So yeah, we'll look at those.
Awesome. And how can I send it through that forum that you guys have still, or is there
Yes,
a
sir.
different?
Yeah, that form is the best way because, like I said, Facebook, email, text messages, they get lost. We forget about them, but in the CRM, we're being reminded, we're checking it every day. So that's the best way to submit it to us.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and fill it out and hopefully we can take a look at it, see if it's a good deal.
Okay, right on. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, definitely interesting.
Appreciate your time, man.
For sure. Thanks, brother. Take care.
Hey, Dylan, I just wanted to say something really quick.
Please.
I am putting this in the chat that if you go to the YouTube channel and you count from the very first, okay, if you go from the bottom up, videos 11, 12, 15, and 16 from the bottom up, it's our underwriting, LOIs, and seller net sheet. So anybody that's interested in learning about the underwriting and how to fill out an LOI or the seller net sheet, there's even one of the, you did one on deal or no deal. It's in there in those videos as well.
Miss Stevie Brown, everybody. Thank you so much, Stevie. Yeah, that's huge. So yeah, if you guys ever looking to learn how to do the underwriting, check out those YouTube videos. Thank you so much for that, Stevie. Huge value. Super appreciate that. Yeah. So, okay, let's go on. Mr. James Steelman, what do you got for me, man?
What's up, brother, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. So I had a couple questions because today I was working on putting together an LOI on this property out here in Lawrenceville. I live out here in Cummings, so in the Atlanta area.
Okay.
And the property is really nice, man. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath, sitting on an acre, and there's a barn that's a two-car garage and then a finished studio on the top. Right now, the seller's motivated. They're open to terms. They have a lot of equity. There's about 185,000 of equity between the market value price, their last purchase price, and what their mortgage existing mortgage is. So I'm putting together not only just the subject to, but an owner finance proposal, and I was kind of stuck on how to structure the terms, but for the fact that there is an listing agent that is between me and the getting direct to the seller to see exactly what they need and fill them out that way. And so I'm running through the numbers. That it was listed at 385 a few months ago. Now it's at 374. And I'm looking at like 360, right? $360 offer, subject to with a 10% down payment, about $3,700 or $37,000, right? And owner financing the rest of their equity over 27 years at a 4% interest, and putting a 10-year balloon on that. With that 4% interest, if it went out for those 27 years, they'd make up that $14,000 between my purchase price and their listing price in the interest, right? That was my angle on that. Now, why when I'm looking at the property taxes on Privy compared to what Zillow is calculating, right? Is about a $2,000 difference. And so in order to give a proper owner finance proposal, I need to know exactly what my PITI would be looking at, you know, to be able to calculate how much room that comparable rent for the areas is $2,500. What I've been able to calculate as my PITI is about $1,750.
Okay.
And that's not including the barn, man. The barn is so dope. And unfortunately, there's no pictures of the inside. My partner, she's already been out to the property and was unaware of the barn because it is sitting on an acre. And I looked it up on Google Maps with satellite, and the barn is sitting kind of in the back, a little bit out the way. So if she didn't know about it already, you know, you'd miss it. But looking at the pictures of the building itself, the structure, the roof, the siding, the paint, it's all nice, you know, modern quality, can't be more than 10 or 15 years old. And so the downstairs garage area, my idea is that area could be leased out to like a car guy or a shop owner or somebody that, you know, wanted to have a t-shirt shop or an embroidery press or what have you. What kind of, is there other zoning hurdles or you know, boxes I need to check in order to legally, you know, put up the garage or you know, make it available for a commercial type lease while renting the upstairs studio apartment along with it?
Yeah. So obviously HOAs are going to be your first check, right? Do you know if there's an HOA?
There's no HOA, no.
Okay, so that's good. So aside from zoning, you may have issues with zoning or not. You know, depends if you're causing issues at all with neighbors, right? If it's loud, then they're going to report you.
That's what's beautiful about the place too, because it's in the city, but it's in a kind of a rural type neighborhood where you know, the neighbors, there's only a couple neighbors and they're pretty spread far apart. And where the barn is,
okay,
in contiguous to the rest of the properties, it's tucked in and out of the way, where
okay,
you know, some snap-on tool gun noises and, you know, things of that nature wouldn't be an issue. I don't see it being an issue, you know.
Yeah.
There's so much space and
right. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know if it is rural like that and you're not going to have noise complaints, you're probably fine. But yeah, you know, zoning is not really my expertise. Dom knows a little bit more about zoning than I do. I don't know if he's here and heard your question.
I didn't hear the whole question, but you just got to make sure whatever the zoning has to permit the use, and then the use needs to be approved by whatever, you know, council or however they do it in the county. Usually it's like a city council, that kind of stuff, but it's got to be approved. So just because it's zoned for something doesn't mean that you can do exactly what you want to do in that zoning area. If that makes sense. So zoning is the big thing. Then you don't have to get it rezoned. And then you got to go make sure that whatever use you're putting in there, that the city, the county, whoever is okay with that use.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm thinking like if it was like say a t-shirt press shop, you know, then there's going to be disposal of paint, chemicals, things of that nature that need to be established, and proper procedures upon doing so, or doing the the auto body type shop, because it's a two-car garage, and it's a big barn, so it would just be a garage type business that I'd be putting in there. So nothing too crazy, but oil and fluid disposal would be something that a car shop would need to have established. And like I said, like a printing press place, again, disposal of inks and other chemicals.
What's it zoned right now?
It's just a residential land. It's a barn. It's a two-car garage barn that.
Well,
has
what's around it?
A finished studio on top. Couple houses, bunch of trees.
So it's rural
neighborhood. Yeah, not like rural, but it's in Lawrenceville, Georgia. So just a few blocks over, there's like a subdivision, but where this particular neighborhood is more woodsy and spread out comparatively.
It just depends on their rules, man. Usually, it just depends on how the business is going to be. Is it going to be a big business advertising, or you do friend stuff? You have a big sign out there, like all that stuff would matter. But typically, anytime you're doing automotive stuff, paint, they're pretty strict on it to make sure that you're doing the right things.
Right.
But again, I don't know what type of business you'll be running there, so you might just be able to do, have your little shop there and have people bring their cars.
I'm just trying to brainstorming ideas to add value to the place.
So that you're trying to wholesale this property, or you want to buy it?
I'm trying to buy and hold the place. Subject to owner finance hybrid, just because they have so much equity in the place, and the barn being such a pivotal added value to the whole location, being that there's the finished studio on top that can be rented out to the owner of who running their whatever business they're running downstairs in the garage that they'd be leasing. Was my
I wouldn't underwrite it that way. I'd underwrite that as a separate residence to live in.
Yeah,
but
that's the way I was approaching it.
An auto mechanics. I especially wouldn't do that. On my property that it's not approved for that, I would find maybe an accountant. You know what I mean? That some a business like that. But anything that's impactful to the environment. If I own the property and it wasn't zoned that way, it wasn't set up that way, I wouldn't underwrite it for that, because I wouldn't bank on that money coming in.
Yeah, maybe boat storage, or someone who wants to store some classic cars there or something like that. I would say storage is probably the best way to go about that, especially if you're
just renting it. Just outright to the tenant who would be staying upstairs.
Exactly. So that's the other
idea too.
Yeah, if you have someone living upstairs, right, they probably don't want a mechanic shop right underneath them as well too. So
that's why I wanted to attach the two, so that
your mechanic would live above his shop.
Yeah, and not necessarily having to be a mechanic. It's just you associate garage and mechanic together.
Yeah, right.
But
exactly.
It could be whatever. It could be a tech startup, and throwing some desks and some computers in there, for all intents and purposes, or turned into a recording studio or something, whatever. But just obtaining a cash flow and value from the garage part and the studio part, almost not necessarily separately, but as two separate. If you can get $1,500, for the lease of the garage area and then the rent for the studio, that's an extra $3,000 of cash flow on top of the couple $100 that's coming from the house that that we'd be getting
right.
with the property.
Yeah, I love your creativity there. I would say first thing that comes to my mind would be storage. There's websites and apps that you could, rent your basement out for someone that needs storage, right? So they don't have to go to a U-Haul or wherever. So that would be my first bet. Maybe if it's big enough, they could store a boat there. Or you got a ton of land. Maybe they, you can also rent the land out and store RVs there if it's permitted, right? Yeah. So other ideas there, man. But yeah, I would say, just get creative with it. Collect some other ideas, see what other people maybe in the area are doing. But Yeah, I wouldn't say there's one set answer for that, but my first bet would be posted on like, there's an app, it's called like self-storage, something like that.
Yeah.
Check that
No,
out.
I know exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mhm.
So, being at a $374,000 listing price, dropping 10,000 in the last few months, their loan being 169,000. What? And I know you don't have all the numbers or anything in front of you or anything like that, but are you leaning more towards a purchase price that's closer to like that 360, 374 number, or giving them a 75 cents on a dollar type price, which is 297, so rounding it up to like 300K?
Yeah. For me, when you're utilizing creative finance, it's so beneficial because you can overpay for a property. If you want to hold it, James, and hold it in your portfolio for at least 10 years, you shouldn't be concerned with purchase price whatsoever. You just need to be concerned with how much money it's going to take you to get into the deal and how much money you can make monthly, right? For example, you would pay that guy $1 million, right? Let's say I was your seller and I said, I want $1 million, but you don't have to give me any money up front, and you only have to pay me a dollar a month for 1 million months. That's a slam dunk of a deal for you, right? But I'm getting my $1 million price. So don't use that as a negotiating power. Tell them I'll overpay for the property. The terms are what you care about. So entry costs and monthly payment, if you can cash flow that sucker and get into it for as little as possible, that's what you care about. Yeah, I would say the higher the price, the better negotiating power for you. So don't lowball them.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
I have an agent, a unicorn agent in training, right? And he's really ambitious, excited about the whole concepts. He's young, and he's attacking these places with that gusto. Now, this place has a listing agent of its own, but this agent was the one who set up the home visit to check out the place, and has been putting in some efforts in the acquisition. Now, I told my partner that preferably we wouldn't want him involved in this deal, because then we'd be having to pay his 3%, because we have to pay cover the listing agent's 3%.
Mhm.
But that's $21,000 for the whole 6%. And so wanting to get him involved, still keep him involved in the acquisition, just because he has been already thus far, and getting him paid in some sort of fashion and excited about creative finance, and future deals. That I'm thinking that I could probably give him, like, offer him a $5,000, flat rate, and maybe the other, because he's entitled to 10,000 for his 3%, and figure out the other 5,000 on some other deals or whatever, what have you. But so, being that there is that secondary agent, and normally in a creative deal, we take care of the listing agent's commission. The other agent, that money, where do I get that from? Where do I pull that from in my math? Because to entice the seller to sell it to me creatively, I want to be able to cover and take care of as much closing costs as possible, correct? So I was kind of how I would work that into my math. That's my question.
Okay. Long-winded question. I sort of got lost there. You're saying, right, where do you come up with the money to pay your buyer's agent or the listing agent?
No, not the listing agent, but the agent that we're grooming to become a unicorn agent himself, and has put in some legwork in setting appointments to get into this place to check it out.
You just want to know how you pay him or how much you pay him, or
Yeah, because him being a part of this first acquisition, I don't like it, but I think it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off in the long run.
Yeah. So,
And
okay, I can help you with that. So I always suggest too, if we're doing creative financing, it's so beneficial for us to not have our own buyer's agent because it's such a good negotiating power. Like as a seller, they typically are the ones that pay that buyer's agent. So when you're like, hey, I don't have a buyer's agent, plus I'll be the person that pays your listing agent, right? It saves everybody more money. So have you signed a buyer's agreement with that
No,
agent?
so that's what I was explaining to my partner, who's actually the one who found this place and
Okay.
brought it to my attention. But she
The
had,
agent didn't find it then, huh?
no, she contacted the number that was on Zillow,
Okay.
right? And they automatically connected her with an agent, representative for her as a buyer, which would ended up being this guy. You know, his name is Matt, and she broke down creative finance to him, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, this sounds awesome. Let's do it." And actually started pulling this and has about 30 properties for us to go check out. So he's not necessarily contracted with us or anything like that, but he's working with us,
I got you.
in the long run.
I
And
got
so because he has already put in some work, you know what I'm saying, and
You feel you want to pay him for his effort.
yeah. And
Take care of your people, James.
Yeah.
Take care of them. Just make your deal however you got to make the deal. But especially if they're working well with you, I would take care of them. But on Zillow, what happened was it just sends you to an agent, and you thought you were calling the agent that was selling the property, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that happens all the time. So
yeah,
but
Yeah,
you
but-
may have
but-
you
but
may have
this
stumbled
agent-
along a very good agent that you can have a long lasting relationship. I don't know what kind of relationship you have with them, but I
Yeah, so
always,
this is what
always
this
do the
guy's-
ethical thing, man. Always pay,
Yeah.
always do the ethical thing because
Yeah,
that's
this is what this
how we
guy's
roll.
this is what this guy's turning out to be, a long-term unicorn agent partner who is excited about learning creative, just introduced him to Pace and his channel so that he could do his own research and homework on his
So
downtime.
partner up with him and call it expired listings.
Right.
And pull
So
a whole
we-
list.
he,
of
he,
expired
he has
partner.
he has 30 properties for us to go through.
Yeah,
that he's
take
pulled
care
already.
of your boy, man. Take care of your people always.
Yeah, so the question is though, where do I come up with his side of
The
the
entry-
commission?
The entry fee. If you're buying it, then your entry fee went up.
Okay.
Yeah. It's as simple as that, man. I mean, it's just another cost to get into the deal. When you're talking to your private money lender or whatever, let them know, hey, I have my own agent. I need to make sure he gets paid. I'm sure if he's learning a ton, he understands that you're the one coming out of pocket to buy a property. It's not usually the case. He'd probably be fine with, a couple grand. So that's what I would just suggest.
Okay, and the purchase price still stays the same. It doesn't get added to that.
Right. Yeah.
right.
So yeah, appreciate it, James. I'm gonna move on to
I appreciate you,
Drew
man.
here. Right on. Thanks, brother. What do you got for us, Drew? Oh, hopefully he's
What's up,
still here.
Dylan?
What's up, man? There you go.
How you doing, bro?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. So pretty much I want to thank you for explaining like agent outreach and everything. I was kind of avoiding agents, honestly, wasting a lot of time with sellers.
Mhm.
Because I'm not a skip tracer. I've just been using like True People, so it just be like real time consuming.
Yeah,
Now,
one at a time.
like the amount of conversations I'm having is just way more. So I want to thank you for that.
Love it, man. Absolutely. Thank yourself,
And
man. You're taking action. You're learning. That's all on you, bro.
nah, thank you, bro, for everything.
Thanks, man.
So I have two questions. So you have the seller finance questions and FAQ on Facebook. Do you
Yes,
guys
sir.
send that in like the letter of intent to like explain it?
Yep, with every offer. Unless it's a straight up all subject to offer, I don't tend to send the seller finance frequently asked questions that often because it's more agents tend to understand that more than the subject to. But yeah, I send the subject to with every offer even if we're taking over a small chunk of their loan, I'll send that off.
Okay. Thank you. And so today I had an agent tell me, well, I just literally said my name. Like I was like, hi, my name is Andrew. And she cut me off to be like, if this is about creative finance, buy. You know, I didn't even say like, can you tell me about the
Wow.
property? Nothing.
Yeah.
She was just mad about the property. And they were listed at like 20K under. And I asked her if it was a short sale. She said no. But pretty much the reason she said that they can't do creative finance is because it's a VA and they need their entitlement. And that was like the first objection she came in with like right away. Like I couldn't even like get into saying I'm an investor, blah, blah, blah.
Gotcha.
How would you handle that?
Yeah. So most of the time, right? It depends. Where were you calling? What city or state was that in?
I think it was Oklahoma City.
Okay. Interesting. Anytime I get a little bit of pushback, like, oh, you're another one of those Pace Morby wannabes, or is this another sub 2 call, right? I immediately try to make a joke, right? Yeah, I'm just another annoying person calling you about subject 2. Sounds like you've gotten a lot of those. And you know, just putting it out there, right? Like they're annoyed, right? I say this to sellers all the time too. Yeah, I'm just another annoying person calling you about your home on 123 Main Street. It gets a laugh. It usually knocks down that wall at least a little bit. And they're like, okay, well, at least you know you're annoying. What do you want? You know? So that's one way to just try to get a laugh and get over that. But let them know that, you know, sometimes it's tough, right? Like that's a valid objection. They need their entitlement. That's completely valid. That's an actual real objection that unfortunately you just can't overcome, right? If they want to buy their next home using their VA loan and leaving this home, letting a buyer take it subject to, it means they can't buy their next home, right? That's a very valid objection. So I would acknowledge that agent by saying, wow, it sounds like you've kind of gone through the steps, maybe even talked to a lender and verified that they wouldn't have enough entitlement. Is that right? Let her say, yes, that's right. And two, this is just has to deal with sales, right? You always want the person you're trying to sell to tell you that's right. There's a book, it's called my trainees always make fun of me because I always reference it. It's called Never Split the Difference. It's an amazing book about sales. So if you're out there calling agents and sellers, I highly recommend reading that book. I've read it like 6 times, but you know, try to drop their wall, make a joke, and just understand that that's a valid objection. You know, understand it's not a good fit for anybody. You know, if you have any other low equity clients, my team buys 3 to 6 homes a month. We help out a ton of sellers. So at the very least, I'd love for you to save my phone number as your go-to low equity buyer and just move on, man. There's not much you're going to say to be able to change that agent's mind, to be honest, in that scenario, at least.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense. I didn't know how valid a VA entitlement was because I don't know if it was like something similar to where debt to income could be like proven or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for that.
Yeah. That's honestly, that's probably the number one valid objection is like, hey, we've already gone down this path. We've verified with my lender, you know, they want to buy their next home in California, Colorado, Arizona. Home prices are $500,000. They simply don't have enough entitlements. It just doesn't work for them. You know, so for instance, maybe they don't want to buy their next home for 5 years. You know, maybe now you can offer a balloon payment, and that's something no one else has suggested. That's a way to go about it. But if they want to buy their next home immediately, just not much you can do about it. They'd have to buy a very cheap home or rent until you paid this off or refinanced it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you think of any other like valid, like concrete objections that there's nothing you can do to move forward in the conversation?
Yeah. So entitlement, I would say, is number one. Debt to income can be a challenge. It's not impossible. It is a valid objection, but we've worked with tons of sellers. I use this story all the time when they're like, nope, we've looked at it, they won't have enough, their debt to income ratio would be off. They can't qualify for their next home. I tell a story, we get that all the time. I'm actually closing on 2 deals right now where that was the same objection that we got from those sellers. All we did was verify with our lender to do what's called a departing residence. This is kind of getting to the weeds of things, but it did work out for them. So at the very least, I'd like to send you an offer. And if the numbers make sense, then we can look into, maybe talking with the lender and seeing how we can clear it off their debt to income. Outside of that, man, I'm trying to think what would be another reason. I mean, there's got to be a couple that I'm not thinking of. It could be one that we've gotten a lot is that it's a relocation company. So if you've ever called an agent and they're like, hey, this is a relocation company, right? These relocation companies buy homes for their employees. Their employees live there for a couple of years. They sell them, buy another home for that employee. I've gotten no so many times on that, but there was one where the agent and the relocation company went down the road with us. The numbers didn't make sense for them, but if they did, it would have worked. They would have got that deal, but that's another valid reason. I'm sure there's a couple else, but I just can't think of them off the top of my head right now. But VA entitlement's definitely a very valid objection, just not much you can do with it.
I never heard of a relocation company, but that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Another one. Kevin Burke mentioned a good one. It's a divorce, and in their divorce decree, the judge is mandating that they cut all ties together, so their names can't be on a mortgage. They can't own any debt together. That is a valid objection as well. Very hard to overcome. That's a type of lead, though, where I would follow up in a month, 2 months, 3 months. And it's possible, right? If that home's still not selling, it's like, hey, you're putting these guys in a very bad situation. When there's this option for them, they won't have to deal with each other, So, but that is also a very valid objection. You actually have a decree from a judge not allowing them to subject to their home. So that's another good one.
Thank you so much.
Right on. Yeah, good questions, man. Okay, Miss Amy Slam Van Brook. Let me re-say that. Amy Van Slambrook. I'm tired. Sorry, I totally messed that up.
That's all right. You got most of it, Dylan.
I got most of it. Yeah, thank you.
I got in under the wire, so I will ask this really quickly. First of all, I'm so excited to get my first wholesale deal under contract. And I put a post in sub 2. So just a couple of words about vetting people who comment and buyers, because I've been really cautious about that, knowing it's open to everybody. And also just the process, I'm sorry, I'm in a red light therapy bed. I just had to go and do an appointment. So it's making my voice sound strange. So anyway, the other one is, this is a listed property and it's below market list price. And so do you ever then sell it to the end buyer for higher than list price, or is list price pretty much the threshold for that, in terms of, when we're actually trying to dispo the property? The third question, and you can answer any or just one of these, whatever would feel quickest for your voice, is the difference between, if I might want to develop this with PML versus wholesaling it, because there's a part of me that feels adventurous in doing another flip, but this is a flip of a whole different scale. So I sent a PM to Pace and said, what are your words of wisdom about this? Because it's a huge development project, but it could be really incredible too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So your first question was, how do you vet buyers?
Right. And so whatever you want to answer, Dylan, and then I know you guys probably have to hop because you've been more than generous.
No worries. So I always ask buyers, right? Like, and you can tell from just having a 5-minute conversation how serious someone is versus, right, they don't really know what they're talking about. So just trying to have a 5-10 minute conversation with them is the first key. I always have a phone call with a buyer before I send them an assignment. Even if they're like, hey, this is my 40th sub 2 deal I've bought, I'm ready to go, I'll send my funds. I still need a quick 5-minute phone call with you. So just seeing, right, like how many deals have they done? What's their exit strategy? So if they're not quite sure, a little hesitant, right? They're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just rent it out, right? Like, okay, it doesn't cash flow or yada yada yada. Or if they're a rapper, right? Know what their exit strategy is, and then most importantly, know if they're using their own funds, whether it's from just cash they got in the bank, a HELOC they're pulling out, whatever, or if they have a private money lender or any other partners. Same thing when you're buying a home, you want to know who the decision makers are. When you're selling a home to an investor, you want to know who the decision makers are. So maybe they're just the front person and they're not the real decision maker. So if they have a PML, right, that's a decision maker. So you need to tell them, hey, triple check your numbers with this guy, make sure you're good, because we don't want to have an issue where you can't get funding when we're at the closing table. So key points are have a actual phone call with them. See how many deals they've done, if they know their exit strategy, and whether they're using a PML or their own funds. So that's how I'd answer that question. Question 2 was whether you wholesale it or keep it.
It was about, do we keep the MLS list price or,
good, yeah.
Or do you ever end by?
And that's actually a very, very good question. I would say in a creative deal, selling it over list price is not too important. We sold an Oklahoma deal, $10,000 over the list price. And it's tough, right? Because they can see the MLS and they can say, well, it was listed at 416. Right, but that was cash. Now he's letting you take over his loan, plus I'm adding my fee on top, right? If the numbers still make sense, they still make sense. I'm selling a deal right now in Texas. I'm asking for above what they were listed for. So if they're like, well, he was only listed at 220, go buy it, go get a loan for it then, right? Or buy it at my price and take over their 3% rate. So I think it's totally fine to advertise a property over market lists. Side note, unless it's cash and it's a fix and flip and you're wholesaling it, then it's not okay. You're not going to find buyers. But if it's creative, totally fine.
Okay, that answers it.
Yep. And then last one was, do you keep this or do you wholesale it?
So this would be like a major, I've done 3 small fix and flips. This would be huge, and I would need a JV partner and a lot, private funding for this and the carrying costs. So
yeah,
it would be an incredible project to be.
Absolutely. That's obviously a question you have to really do some soul searching for and figure out on your own. But some feedback I could provide, right, is there's always going to be another deal. So the feeling is FOMO, right? You don't want to miss out on a potential huge check or just an opportunity to make great connections. My feeling is there's always going to be those opportunities, and you can but on the flip side, right, you can only sharpen your axe for so long until you have to start chopping down that tree. So sometimes it's worth it for you just to get in, make 1 year's or 2 years worth of cash flow via an assignment fee or a wholesale fee, move on to the next one. So it really depends. I would say if you have a lot of connections in that state, if you have the private money lender or equity partners ready to go, then it's probably a good play for you to keep it. And also if you have the time commitment. But if it's sort of a new market, you don't really have that many connections, maybe take $5,000 off your assignment fee and say, hey, I'd love to stay in this deal, whether it's like just training. I just want to learn how you do it. Or take no assignment fee and say, hey, I just want a 10% or 15 or 20% equity position, and I'll give this deal to you, no assignment fee. So different ways to think about it. But at the end of the day, that's got to be your decision, right? Because there's so many factors that go into that.
That's so helpful though, Dylan. I really appreciate it. Yeah, because there's, it's the adventure of that and learning, and there's
Mhm.
so many just priceless gains from it.
Mhm.
And it also, you're so right. This is just a really special property that doesn't come available very often. So anyway, but I will think and pray through that, and I appreciate it so much. I know your voice is probably ready to give out.
It's
So
going. Yep.
thank you.
Right on. Thanks, Amy. All right, guys. 2 hours with you guys. That was amazing. We had up to 70 or so people now. Still got 48 hanging out with us after 2 hours. It's honestly, it just makes me smile from ear to ear. I'm super excited to have this opportunity to do this for you guys. So I guess, yeah, I'm now looking back at the chat, seeing like I missed some questions, but I'm just gonna have to call it here. I got some other stuff to do. I gotta take care of. So if we missed your question, if you guys still need some stuff, post it in the Facebook group. Someone on our team will reach out to you. If you ever want to reach out to us, the best person for you guys to get a hold of is Rachel Swartz. That's if you check out the Facebook page, Heard of Profits. She's the one that posts these links, so you guys will see her. She's the best person for you to DM and say, hey, how do I get this link? Or, hey, what does it look like if I do this and this, right? Any questions, it's probably the best that you DM her and she'll point you in the right direction. Yep, at Rachel Swartz. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, Elijah says, remind me to never text you. Yeah, it's likely I don't see it. You might have to send me a couple of text messages. So it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just I'm better at answering phone calls, I guess. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much for showing up. Again, join the Facebook, subscribe to Angie's YouTube. We're so grateful to have you. Our next Zoom, I'm not sure if we will be on Friday. Me and Joey both leave to Cabo San Lucas for a little trip. So I'm not sure if we will have Friday Zoom. So keep your eye on the Facebook. We'll keep you posted. And
Angie
we'll
said
just play
that
it
you
by ear.
are running the Zoom from Cabo.
All right, I'm golfing. I don't know what she's talking about. So sweet. Thank you guys so much. Have a good week, and we will maybe see you on Friday. Anyways, thanks, guys.